Devin here from Anime Seasoning. I want to talk about the summer 2020 anime season so far. One thing I want to make clear here is I'm not going to be discussing any of the sequels this season or any of the holdovers from spring 2020. I think they live in their own world and can be separated. I'm going to be talking about the series from worst to best here. I'm going to start off Matsuricon Doctor. The main issue I have with Matsuricon Doctor is it's not good. It's a bad show. There's no redeeming qualities to it. The characters are bad, the animation's bad, the girls are bad, and everything else about the show is bad. There's no redeeming qualities. There's nothing that you can't get better from another series. And that's where I wish it did. Like, there's no reason not just to watch Matsuri Musume again. If you've seen it 12 times, watch it again. It's still better than a single episode of this show. And that's terrible. Like, and I wish it was better, but it's not going to be. And that's really all I have to say, because there's nothing memorable at the show. It's just bad. And after that, we have Peter Grill. Peter Grill lied to us. At least the synopsis did. It made it sound like it was going to be about Peter Grill just trying to fight off all the girls that wanted him so that he could keep his chastity for his fiancée. What we got was Peter Grill hides the fact that he is getting on with a lot of girls from his innocent fiancée. And it's not good. It's just not, like, if this was uncensored and gave you a bit more thing to show off, it'd be a really, really good hentai if you want to be serious here. But it's not. It doesn't do that. It's just Peter gets in crazy situations with these girls, and Peter hides it from his fiancée. And that's it. That's the episodes. It's like, it's bad. It's disappointing. And at least expect maybe a fun comedy with Benechi, and what I got was just softcore hentai, and that's not what I wanted. Those are the two really bad shows for this season. From here we get a bit better at the mediocre shows. We have Dokia Hentai HX Eros, which is fun. I think if you like ecchi, you'll have a lot of fun with this. You'll have a fun time, especially if you watch like Power Rangers Hentai as a kid. It's really good at making yourself entertained there. I think it's a really fun parody of those kind of things. But if you don't enjoy ecchi, it's not good. Like, the show needs ecchi to be good to have any value, and it's not. Like, the story's boring, characters are kind of boring, the fights are boring. The only thing that's not boring about it is some of the fun little comedy between the characters in ecchi situations and the ecchi itself. If you ignore that, it's just not good. After that, like, I don't know what else to talk about there. It's mediocre. That's the issue with a lot of these series, is just mediocre. So many of these shows are mediocre, I have no idea what to say about them. I do have one thing to say about this next show, which is also kind of sitting in that mediocre to good range, is Uzaki-chan. Uzaki-chan is, like, as a character, is annoying herself. She's annoying, and it's kind of the point. She is supposed to be annoying. You're supposed to not like her. You're supposed to you're supposed to like her, but you're supposed to know that she isn't the most nice person to be around in a public situation. And if the show just continued with the comedy, like, the first episode was miserable to watch. I almost dropped out the first episode, but I watched the next episode, and it was okay, actually. Like, the comedy works between her and the main character because he works as a straight man to her crazy side, and that's really some of the fun there. And another else we have is the fact that, like, the show is good when it focuses on their relationship, on, like, their romantic relationship and how that's budding and how they work and connect together. And after that, if it doesn't deliver that, it's not good. Basically, it's an investment of hope, this show. You're investing in the potential of their relationship that may grow and they may bud into a couple, and seeing them be happy with each other. Like, and that's it. It's okay. Like, after that, we have God of High School, which is another disappointing series this season. God of High School has the issue of being easily the best anime show of the season by a large distance, but also when it comes to story, it's terrible. There's nothing fun about the story. It's generic. It's not good. The animation, actually, not animation. What am I talking about? The comedy is bad. Like, all the story comes down to is shonen character hits face, haha, and well, I made silly face because I made a mistake, haha, and that's the comedy. That's where the story is. Like, I guess the only good story is with one of the side characters' reason for fighting. And that's it. But as the main character, it's haha, I slipped on a banana, oh, I'm a funny man. And besides that, it's just boring. But the animation is so damn good on these fight scenes with this fantastic choreography, it's worth watching. It is. It is worth watching every episode just so you can see the fight. Because the show's about 50% story, 50% fighting, and I hope as we get farther into this season, we'll get more and more fighting as we get more and more into the tournament itself. Because so far we've only hit about the preliminary rounds of the tournament. And as that happens, I'm hoping that the show really makes up for the mediocre bits that it had. And that's really it for God of High School. It has been disappointing so far, but I'm really hoping that the animation is able to make it worth it. After that, we're getting to the first really good show that I've seen this season, and it's Rent a Girlfriend. Rent a Girlfriend really functions on the idea that Kazuya, who is a shit human being, becomes a better human being thanks to Chizuru and developing himself and working to make himself a better human being. And that's really where it blossoms. Kazuya without Chizuru is a selfish, horny little bitch, and with Chizuru, he's hopefully maybe less selfish, maybe less horny, definitely less of a little bitch, willing to stick up for himself. And that's where the show is good. And we have another character called Mami. She's Kazuya's ex-girlfriend, and she's a garbage human being. She's meant to be a shit. She's meant to be hated. And I think the show does really good at making you hate her. Just like I think the show's really good at making us kind of hate Kazuya. But also kind of making us want Kazuya to become better for the sake of the people around him. But let's get back to Mami here and say about how it's hard to describe how bad Mami is without just using examples of things he's done. One of the first times we see Mami as a character, she's at a bar with a bunch of her and Kazuya's friends, and Kazuya brings Chizuru as his quote-unquote girlfriend there. And while Kazuya is in the bathroom, she takes his seat and is quote-unquote talking to Chizuru. She's really not doing anything. But the second that Kazuya sits back down, she starts trash-talking Kazuya to not just Chizuru, but also the entire group, basically. She's being loud enough, and Kazuya's just whimpering, being yes, ha ha ha, and just cowering there. And even as Chizuru starts to defend him, he just doesn't do anything. And that both makes a good example of how Kazuya is a little bitch, coward, who's somebody just stood up for him, and he's still just going to be weak there because the girl he likes was the one being mean to him. He doesn't stand up for himself, and that's an issue there. But what we're hoping for as fans of the series is that he does stand up for his own. Eventually there will be a parody of that scene, not a parody, a counter point to that scene later in the series where a very similar thing happens. The only difference is Kazuya says no and stands his ground. And that's what the show is. Like I was saying earlier with Uzaki-chan, it's an investment into the relationship. This is an investment into Kazuya and how Kazuya himself will become a better person throughout the series, and will go away from working on the Mami side of the scale, where this is what he gets if he stays how he is, to the Chizahara side of the scale, where this is what he gets if he works to become better, if he develops himself into a more mature and strong human being. And it's about watching him develop from that Mami side of the scale to the Chizuru side of the scale, and as we watch the show, he's very slowly crawling to Chizuru's side of the scale. And that's what it's good. It's hoping that Kazuya becomes better. Because if he doesn't become better, there's nothing to watch. At the end of this season, if this show does not have Kazuya being at least half redeemable, the show's bad. because the only point of watching the show is because Kazuya needs redeeming, and we hope that it's there. Besides that, like, it's alright. Like, besides that, it's okay. Like, Kazuya is shit. That's it. Like, I've said a lot of what I can say about this show. I think there's more if I wanted to go more in depth on, like, Kazuya as a character or Mami as a character. But besides that, it's alright. And now we're going to get on to Decadence. Decadence is a surprise for me. I almost didn't watch it this season. Reading the synopsis did not catch my eye, but I just thought I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I turned it on. It was great. The animation is superb. There's a lot of care. That's the biggest thing I got out of watching this. People cared about this show. This is something people loved and wanted to work on. The main character, the animation's great. There's a lot of emotion in there. There's a lot of expression in those characters. The characters are able to express themselves in great ways. Okay, the characters are able to express themselves in great ways, and that's amazing. The characters aren't just shells. They aren't just, but like, they're not just faces, basically. Like, there is movement in their face, movement in their body to express how they feel. The voice actors care about these characters. They're adding real emotion to it. They're delivering these lines of fun, and they're enjoying themselves. I think that's the main thing. Everybody on this project is enjoying themselves. The animators are enjoying themselves. The writers are enjoying themselves. The show is just, it's fun to watch because you know people cared. You're seeing what passion looks like on screen. One thing I want to talk about the show is that it functions a lot around a twist that happens around episode 1 of the series. And from there, kind of working a dichotomy between the crazy twist and the regular world, and how now that you understand there's a crazy twist, that the regular world seems even more regular and kind of more, well, fucked, and trying to find that nice balance between those. And I think if the series is able to keep that balance and is able to make us want to watch like the things with the bottom while making us care about things at the twist, then the show will do good. If it doesn't, then the show will fail. If at any point, basically, that the twist becomes more important than the plot on Decadence, then it's not going to be good. But if as long as they keep that balance, it's going to be a good show. Next, I want to talk about my favorite show this season. A show that I was extremely surprised by how entertaining it was. Was definitely not a show I would have expected to be as good as it was. And this is Misfit Demon King Academy. It's great. It seems like a generic power fantasy isekai, and it kinda is. The main difference is it drops a generic part, in my opinion. And it drops the generic and puts all that generic into power, because Enos Voldigod is amazing. He's fun to watch. He's extremely overpowered. To get an idea, one of the first times we get to see how powerful he is he's in a fight, and he kills a man just with his heartbeat. He just makes his heart beat harder, and this just kills the man. And then he resurrects the guy and kills him again, and repeats this process until the people understand that he has won this fight. And he just keeps doing that, and it's great. It's so fun to watch him do his crazy shit. Like, teleportation. Apparently teleportation magic's been gone for 2,000 years. He just does it on a whim. One scene in a class, he has to, like, attack a castle. He solely grabs the castle from the ground, just throws it across the woods. The guy is insane. It's so fun to watch. It's one of those shows where you can really just, like, look at and just like, man, this is fun. And that's the thing. Not every show that's great needs to have emotion, needs to focus on this or that. It needs, like, this one just focuses on being fun. It's entertaining to watch. And isn't that what you want out of your entertainment? The fact that you sit there, you watch it, and it's great. And that's what I'm so excited for with this show. I'm excited every week to turn this on and laugh. I'm excited to turn this on and enjoy the crazy stuff that happens. How this character who is supposed to be this evil demon king he just loves his mom. He does. He might make a more brash decision just because he thinks his mom will enjoy it, and that's fun. He cares, and it's so fun to watch him interact with this world. Misfit Demon King Academy is easily the best show of the season. Like, all these other shows may be forgotten. I don't think Misfit Demon King Academy is going to be forgotten. I think it's going to be remembered for like taking isekai power fantasy to the next level and just making them that much more entertaining to watch. Well, that's really all I have to say about summer 2020 anime. There's it's really hit or miss, which is unfortunate, and honestly, the highs aren't the most high thing in the world. I think that this season will mostly be remembered for Misfit Demon King Academy, maybe Rent a Girlfriend, because waifus are always going to win there. Besides that, I imagine this is going to go down as one of the not as good seasons we've had in recent whiles. This has been Devin from MMA Seasoning. Thank you very much for watching.